Thank you, Mayor. Can we give it up for Mayor Bass one more time? You know, it's really an honor to be here. When I think of Mayor Bass, the qualities that endear you to me and to, frankly, your constituents and to the nation are many of the same qualities that endeared a guy named Barack Obama to this nation. You are the quintessential organizer. You are the quintessential bring people together, the quintessential problem solver. And to watch you at work in Congress was to see a uniter, a fighter, and a person of incredible accomplishment, whose North Star is, frankly, what my faith teaches me, which is that we all succeed only when we all succeed. And that's been your entire career. And it's so remarkable to talk to friends in Los Angeles, how are things going, and to hear, my goodness, we are focused like a laser on this issue of helping people who are in housing crisis. So thank you for all that you do, Mayor Bass, and thank you for your friendship of many, many years. It has been an honor to get to know you and to learn from you. And there's so many other folks here. It's having to replace or succeed Hilda Solis as Labor Secretary was an unenviable task. Congresswoman, now member, I think it's 2.5 seats that you represent now, something like that, as a supervisor. And, someone, again, who's always understood that when the labor movement succeeds, America succeeds. And your life of service, Madam, I don't know what, as I said to you last week, I never know what to call you, Madam Secretary, Congresswoman, and her answer was, how about Hilda? And this is the second time in a week, Supervisor Mitchell. It's great to see you. We were together at the Vice President's residence a week ago to celebrate some really accomplished black women in elected leadership. And there were about 200 there, and it was a remarkable evening. Such a great honor to be there. And I see a person in the audience here who I worked with when I had the privilege of leading the Civil Rights Division, Oli Cantos, who is a very accomplished politician, evidently, because he got elected. We got a quorum from your town there, and thank you for coming. I had the privilege of serving in local government. I had the privilege of serving in state government, and I've had the privilege of working at a federal level under Republican and Democratic leadership. I started my career as a career prosecutor when George Herbert Walker Bush was president. I prosecuted an LAPD officer pre-Rodney King, to give you a sense of how long I've been coming to Los Angeles. I had hair back then, Supervisor, a lot of it. My kids have never seen that hair, though. I have grown in so many ways through the experiences of coming out here. It is a remarkable community. And the reason I bring up my experience in local, state, and federal government is because our challenges today, we are in a moment of grave crisis on the one hand, and on the other, we are in a moment of unbelievable opportunity. I'm convinced of that. If Joe Biden were here today, he would tell you, I've never been more optimistic about the future of America. Because you look at some of the most remarkable accomplishments in American history, and they have come in the throes of some of the most challenging moments in American history. You look at the New Deal, which was passed amid a Great Depression and global conflicts, fascism across Europe, and we built a New Deal. You look at the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, and I think about the Fair Housing Act, which was passed a short week or so after the assassination of Dr. King. You look at the Voting Rights Act of 1965. After the Civil Rights Act passed in 64, people said, you couldn't possibly do more. But thanks to Dr. King and Reverend Lawson and others, we accomplished that. So folks, yes, our democracy's on fire, and it's a 5-alarm blaze right now. There's no doubt about that. But what you all have in common in this room is that, most people are trained to run away from the fire, but you all run to the fire. And that's what you all have in common. Because we know that the journey to form a more perfect union has never been a linear journey throughout our history. It's been marked by moments where we say, oh my God, what have we become? I ask a different question. What can we become? And I am so impressed with your commitment to attacking the challenges of unhoused people. As I've said to the mayor more than once, my wife, for over 26 years, has worked at a place in D.C. called the Washington Legal Clinic for the Homeless. This issue isn't just passing interest that I studied one day. This is an avocation. And it must be an avocation for all of us. And it must be an all-hands-on-deck exercise for all of us. Local government, state government, municipal government, county government, the federal government, our nonprofit partners. And those of you who are, by the way, our nonprofit partners, where did you go? I just met with two of them. Where are you hiding? Stop hiding in the back. The work that you are doing, we are a nation of immigrants. We always have been. The first fatality in the most recent war in Iraq was a guy named Lance Corporal Jose Gutierrez. Came to this country undocumented from Guatemala, had his status adjusted, enlisted in the United States Army, like my father, as a legal immigrant. By the way, legal immigrants have been fighting and making the ultimate sacrifice for this country since the Revolutionary War. Got his citizenship posthumously. God bless Lance Corporal Jose Gutierrez. And God bless the two of you and everybody else who's working to understand and make sure that our immigrants coming to this city are treated with dignity. That's a moral imperative in addition to a legal imperative. And I appreciate what you're doing. We have so many challenges here. And as I said to the council, and it was a really a privilege of an opportunity to meet Hugo and the rest of the council members today. We can do this. We've made unprecedented investments, the Biden-Harris administration, in partnering with you to combat homelessness. We have identified a handful, literally, of cities where we are taking deep dives to address this. The root causes, understanding that the vast majority of people experiencing homelessness have mental health issues. They have other issues that we have to deal with holistically. And understand that we have to build out a community mental health infrastructure. That we have to make sure that our law enforcement officers are equipped with partners, assertive community treatment teams that can respond and diffuse moments of folks in mental health crisis. We can attack and we can win these issues on homelessness. But it requires, and you have all the ingredients that are required. You have leadership in your mayor. You have leadership on your board of supervisors, two of whom are here. You have leadership in local governments. You have nonprofit partners. You have leadership in Governor Newsom. You have leadership in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I urge you to call us with frequency, because we are here to help. And it's not just providing money, although that's kind of a biggie. And we've provided unprecedented amounts of money, and we will continue to do so. But it's also about marshaling the expertise that exists. As I mentioned earlier to the mayor, I used to be the chair for 2 years of the Interagency Council on Homelessness when I was labor secretary. And people wonder, why is the labor secretary dealing with homelessness? Well, that's a simple question to answer. We want to solve all the challenges simultaneously. Housing first, addressing healthcare issues, addressing job issues. When we do all of those issues together, in a coordinated fashion, that's how we succeed at scale. And that's what we're going to continue to do. But we need your help. And we need that continued partnership. And I'm here to say, and I leave you with this. I think it's really important in life to understand the moment of time we're living in. And this is a moment, as I said earlier, of grave danger in our democracy. But this is, and it's so important to understand, that it's a moment of unprecedented opportunity. I mean, all my friends who are serving in municipal government and local government, their favorite term from Washington for a while was ARPA. Here's money. Go figure out how to spend it. You decide, because you know best. That was a partnership in action. It enabled you to do things, Mayor, that you'd wanted to do, you needed to do, but you didn't have the money to do. Well, folks, there are other opportunities of a similar nature. Let's take advantage of them. Let's activate, as the mayor and others are doing, our business community, philanthropy, and others. We can tackle this. I am confident that when the world descends on Los Angeles in 2028, Los Angeles will be touted as a model of how to tackle tough challenges, a model of our nation's remarkable quilt of diversity, a city that embraces our diversity, a city and a county that, if it were its own country, would be something like 20th in the world in GDP. That's what you are. And we will accomplish these tasks together. I was born at night. I wasn't born last night. I understand that tackling homelessness is not a snap of a finger. It's going to take persistence. And there will be moments when we feel we're going sideways. But you know what? When we are all together, marshaling our resources, moving forward, I am confident we can do this. And I want you to know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have great faith in you, Mayor. You got a ton of goodwill in the West Wing of the White House. You have a ton of goodwill in the United States Congress. And that is one of the many reasons I feel so hopeful here today. So thank you for having me. We are here to help. Stephanie, if you could raise your hand. Stephanie works with our mayors